So good morning, everybody. We are on the last day of the augmented reality course concerning the E4TLI project, the Erasmus Plus project for the literacy in technologies and for inclusion. And this morning session for students, we will have João Prudente and Ricardo, who will be giving some experience and speak about planning and lessons that we can learn from this augmented reality. So we've been discussing these 5 days very different things, and I think it's a nice way to end this course, and I hope you have enjoyed it. So now I'm going to give you the floor, João, and
Okay.
interrupt my sharing.
Okay. Thank you, Inês. We talked a lot about AR. Sorry, there's some feedback here. I don't know what feedback. This is. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, there was some feedback here. Okay. What we talked a lot about. Just a second, because I will close the door. I think it's kind of end of the explanation, showing some experiences that happen in the industry and business world. Okay, so this presentation, it's a sharing of some experience. Some I experienced firsthand, some I experienced by study, but I will explain while going on in the explanations. So, augmented reality is used in planning. So this is I will explain how it is used in planning, in business, in maintenance, and then I will start speaking of a technology that is associated to the AR, that is the digital twins. Okay, so AR is used a lot in planning for visualization, because it's easier to see digital models of buildings, for public engagement, because as you may know or may feel, when someone is discussing an urban intervention, it's difficult to bring people or the citizens to the discussion. So it's important to have tools to do that, and I will show an example, not one that I have experienced, but one that I find quite interesting. Also site analysis, when something is being built, they can see the things happening in the almost real time. And then in design, that people can bring design in a collaborative fashion. I will show an example of that. So, an interesting example. Okay. Training in education, we also covered a lot, so it's easier you must be familiar with this concept by now. Historical preservation, that is to create historical structures, and we also saw some examples already in this courses. Wayfinding and navigation, it's the ones that we are more familiar, because it's the projection in the screens, the cars and things like that. So it's not so difficult. You can see lots also examples in Google Maps and street view. Okay. One thing that I think it's quite interesting is the planning of plants. Okay, And here you can see what is the planning of a plant, and the planning of a plant with collaborative design. And you can see all the phases. This is BMW. This uses NVIDIA. NVIDIA is one of the major players in the AR and VR field. One that it was not shown in most of the slides, but NVIDIA is now the biggest company in graphic cards, graphic imaging, producing the chips for car navigation and things like that. So NVIDIA is increasingly important, and most of car manufacturers rely on NVIDIA, and about 30% of computers have NVIDIA cards. So NVIDIA is quite huge, not so well known from general public. I would say that is well known from computer geeks and gaming freaks that they are very fond, and Bitcoin mineration. NVIDIA is a lot in mineration because, as I said a few sessions ago, most of these things, and when you compute scenes in 3D and put things in the real world, you use a lot of mathematic functions, and the most important is the fast Fourier transform. And NVIDIA is specialized in doing FFT in chips. But this is an example that has little to do with that. Is used by NVIDIA to promote this augmented reality business and planning tools. Okay, they don't do planning tools. They have the technology that helps planning tools to work. And so, yeah, I think it's a quite interesting example.
The world's industries are accelerating digitalization with over $3.4 trillion being invested in the next 3 years. We at BMW strive to be leading edge in automotive digitalization. With NVIDIA Omniverse and AI, we set up new factories faster to produce more efficiently than ever. This results in significant savings for us. It all starts with planning, a complex process in which we need to connect many tools, data sets, and specialists around the world. Traditionally, we are limited since data is managed separately in a variety of systems and tools. Today, we've changed all that. We are developing custom Omniverse applications to connect our existing tools, know-how, and teams all in a unified view. Omniverse is cloud native and cloud agnostic, enabling teams to collaborate across our virtual factories from everywhere. I'm about to join a virtual planning session for Debrecen in Hungary, our new EV factory opening in 2025. Let's jump in.
Milan is starting.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Milan. Great to see you. We're in the middle of an optimization for the body shop. Would you like to see?
Thanks. I'm highly interested. And I'd like to invite a friend.
Sure.
Hey, Milan. Good to see you. Jensen, welcome to our virtual planning session.
Just an introduction, Jensen. The guy that entered is kind of a guru of imaging. He is the founder and the CEO of NVIDIA. So he's in IT. He's quite famous. He is not so famous outside of IT world, but he will be. It's like these things, like he'll be let's say the next Steve Jobs or something like that. But it's just.
It's great to be here. What are we looking at? This is our global planning team who are working on a robot cell in Debrecen's digital twin. Matthias, tell us what's happening.
So we should learn production concept requires some changes. We are now reconfiguring layout to add a new robot into the cell.
Okay, but if we add a new robot on the logistics side, we need to move our storage container.
All right, let's get this new robot in. That's perfect. But let's double check. Can we run the cell? Excellent.
Milan, this is just incredible.
Virtual factory integration.
Of course, it is more virtual reality than anything. But when the plant is put in place, you can
accelerate digitalization
is
with over
augmented reality.
$3.4 trillion being invested in the next 3 years. We at BMW strive to be.
Sorry. Somehow.
Teams did together. Congratulations. We are working globally to
Sorry.
optimize
There
level.
is something
Let's get this new robot.
we lost
That's
something.
perfect. But let's double check. Can we run this out? Excellent. Milan, this is just incredible. Virtual factory integration is essential for every industry. I'm so proud to see what our teams did together. Congratulations.
We are working globally to optimize locally. After planning, operations is key, and we've already started. To celebrate the launch of our virtual plant, I'd like to invite you to open the first digital factory with me.
I'd be honored. Let's do it.
This is, of course, to promote the NVIDIA Omniverse, that is a second reality that they bring. The second example that I would like to share, and this is really augmented reality, and it's quite realistic, and it's in place. It did start in 2016, I think. It's to help people to understand what is happening in our cities, a city. Okay, it's citizen involvement. It's important thing that I think that most when we see some in Portugal, we see sometimes building site with something at the door saying it will be this size with this kind of stories about the floor and things like that, but that is quite abstract. So I think this tool will be, this kind of tools should be deployed everywhere.
It's very realistic. Wow.
Looks like I'm standing right in front of the building. Yeah, it's impressive tech for sure. The building looks like I'm looking at it right now.
Hi, I'm Dana. I'm an architect from Tel Aviv and an urban entrepreneur based in New York. To me, buildings speak. As an architect, I naturally translate maps and zoning codes into a clear understanding of the future of my city. Raising your voice in regards to the places you love should not depend on your ability to attend this or that community meeting. Participation in planning should be easy, straightforward, and fun.
Oh, wow.
When all people understand what's going on around their homes, when they'll have an easy way to weigh in their opinion about it, only then will we start building truly smart, inclusive, and equitable cities and communities. City planning is a top-down profession. Technology today should be used to give a voice to the real experts of cities, the residents.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, this is amazing.
It puts you like into perspective, like how tall the building is gonna be.
It's great to see what the city will look like in the near future.
Download the InSitu app from the App Store and check out the future of the places you love.
So then a more simple example, more down to earth example, that is the use of a tool to take measures of your own to plan what you will place there. It's just the opposite. We saw a factory, something big, something huge being planned, and that they are building what I will explain later on, a digital twin. Then they will deploy the factory because factories need to be real, and they will check the factory against augmented reality. Then we see what is the tools for people involvement and you could see at the plant the collaborative effort. Of course, they are actors and not very good ones, but you could see that involvement with people of the planning of robotics and the logistics taking pieces from the factory. I would think that it would be quite more scientific, but it was a discussion in act for this video. But never mind. Then now we'll see something that is very practical, that is applied to our lives, everyday lives, and I hope that you enjoy. This is without sound. So this is a tool that you can use to take measures of your own. Okay, so you build a digital model of your own. This tool, it's called. Use very practical use of it. It's AR Plan 3D. This is a tool that you can download to your mobile phone and use to plan your own, make a model of your own, and for example, using the planning of a kitchen or something like that. So in business, AR in business, as we saw, is being more important than ever. We also saw in retail, in e-commerce, with lots of examples like the ones in Shopify and others that we already saw. We see in marketing advertising, the examples that in catalogs, they are complemented by augmented reality, and augmented reality as links. Product design and prototyping. This is quite easy to understand. I would say that this is more VR now than AR, but it's also used in AR. Training and education we also covered. It's almost the same thing. Remote assistant and support is the examples, and we'll see in a few seconds. It's the possibility of people remotely help us to fix something, again comparing against a model, and the way to show data visualization and analytics in space that is also useful. For sales, it's a way to show interactive demos. For example, if someone is showing a place, an empty house, he can show what is the empty house with some things in front and present that. Of course, this is an example that we also saw already. And in supply chain management, I will show a very good example, and because this is kind of sophisticated. This is the most sophisticated use. Okay, so I will show a very simple example of data visualization using a tool that most of us is. I don't know if you are using or not. It's Power BI. It's Microsoft Power BI. I use to number crunching. Let's say, for example, with when I work in a company, sometimes the output is in a dashboard that we make in Power BI. Power BI now has data visualization tools that are put in space. So let me try to start. This is kind of publicity of Microsoft. Hopefully, it's not very explicit, but I will complement with another. Sorry. This is a, let's say, a plant supervisor that stops in front of. Oh, sorry. I will try to convince this weekend. This is a plant supervisor that sits in front of a console, looking at the plant. This worker is having trouble with the machine. He puts the glasses. This is kind of not very useful, but he can now. It's just to present the things. He went to the factory and looks with the mean face to the line. If you can see, you can see here that he looks at the production numbers in the machine that are visually displayed in front of him. And he noticed that this one is red, these are blue. So this one it's out of spec. He goes to the machine, looks at the machine, and this virtual reality puts the indicator, and he noticed that air pressure is down. He changes the parameters of the machine. Oh, he checks in the machine. Okay, and now he understands that the loss of pressure is done to broken pipe. He fixes the machine. Very easy. So the idea is that you have a dashboard and then you can go to dashboard. Another example, not so, the one that is official and it's not so right. You will look at the office and you can see the numbers of people that is there working, the schedule, work, and data. So dashboard. So this is also a supervisor that enters a room and looks at everything and sees that everybody looking relaxed, but being compliant with what is expected. So this is the video that I prefer and I would like to show. That is the one that crosses augmented reality and digital twins and the supply chain. Lowe's is kind of is a it's a hardware store, a big chain of hardware store in USA. When I was in USA, I entered there, but the one that I entered for sure didn't use this technology. But okay, I will show you what this idea that they have to change the business.
At Lowe's, we are
Also using NVIDIA technology.
At Lowe's, we are always looking for ways to reimagine and test the future of our store operations and customer experiences. With Omniverse, we are taking early steps in digital twins and AI to democratize store planning for our retail associates.
In two of our stores, digital twins are already linked to the physical world via streaming data APIs and intelligent IoT sensors. To build our digital twins, we'll leverage a universal scene description pipeline that aggregates native CAD from tools including Revit, Maya, AutoCAD, and SketchUp. These will enable our retail associates and planners to collaborate in real time to understand sales performance and identify anomalies. And we can run CI/CD processes that test and validate thousands of store and product layouts before making any physical changes to our stores. Each variation uses Omniverse microservices to simulate customer traffic flow patterns trained on historical data, shown here as a heat map. In the physical world, these simulations can transform how our associates reconfigure shelves and aisles, wearing Omniverse connected magic.
This is the one that connects augmented reality to this kind of tools, because this is everything. It's virtual reality in designing the building or the store. There is also simulation tools. There is a digital twin that is built, and there is the glasses that help people to compare the reality with the digital twin.
Leap to headsets. They can see and interact with full fidelity digital twin in augmented reality. Magic Leap also uses large AI model for perception streamed from OVX servers to enable accurate object detection and identify occluded products on hard-to-reach shelves. We are excited to be pioneers in digital twins for retail. With Omniverse, we are pulling store data together in ways that have never been possible, creating new means of viewing, sharing, and interacting with that data, and giving our associates ultimate superpowers.
So, hope that I could demonstrate what is the use in business. Then I will go to another step, that is AR in maintenance. In maintenance, we already saw that we can have the remote assistants where technicians wear glasses and help people that is remotely help them. Also AR can provide tools for step-by-step instructions to put everything working. And we also saw some pictures in the first session and the second session. And there is a possibility of diagnostics, because it can project some things that sensors sense and in front of us. And of course, training and onboarding is always the same thing, because you can jump the hands-on experience with some augmented virtual reality. And there is one that is about safety enhancements. That is, for example, we could saw yesterday in a presentation that Inês show about the contact lenses that helped us to have augmented reality in firefighter. The firefighter could have information about the dangers in the structure or the heat map that is in front of him. Okay, so I will start to show a very simple example. The one that I took a comic video to show you in a few seconds what I mean. Actually, I use this in my life, because I have the technology where I work. We use this technology and to manage the network. So you can see. I will explain in the video the difference between what was in the past and what is now in this moment.
And done. Not done yet.
Okay.
Where are your labels? How is anyone going to know what device is plugged into what?
Yeah, as you probably saw, this kind of racks for telecommunications, there's a lot of cables. This one is very tidy, okay? But there are labels everywhere so that we are not lost in in these connections. But in this case, they don't use nothing. They don't put labels because the technology now with augmented reality brings us to the devices.
Whoa, what the heck? Dude, you've been hacked. Oh, you're serious? No, no, no. This is just our latest innovation in quick. We call it ether lighting. It's meant to simplify racknet. For example, let's say I wanted to locate a device like the lobby phone. There it is.
Okay.
Or let's say I want to know where my cameras are. Yes, there they are. I can even assign colors to different profiles, like light type.
This is not the video that I wanted to share. Okay, sorry. I will show a different one. Just a second.
It's even more insight. Here's the QR code and check out all the details in augmented reality. Use by app. Man, that is.
It's the one that I want to show is this one. Okay. If you have doubts, you can put you can scan a QR code that opens here in this thing, and you can see what is connected to which port. This is AV station. Actually, I have this example here.
Oh.
I will share a different video just to you can. Just a second.
Welcome to the
I will this video I will be very. So the idea is to
Stock solutions, much that are in good, right? It shows link here,
Okay.
right on their home screen. If you
okay.
go to
It's just the idea is that you look at the devices with augmented reality and you see what is there. Okay.
Unified work and
he will show. Okay, just a second.
Pro. So I use this regular Gen 2 as sort of my daily driver core switch. And then I set up this Gen 2 Pro with just some miscellaneous devices. I've got a G4 Pro camera plugged in, a UFW Flex,
describing that he
and then this Nano HD access point. So just basically to show that there are some devices in here, and then down here, of course, we have many, many more devices. And if I was looking at this, especially if you come over here and you see this, say, okay, and luckily I do have a say desktop and do it. It has a link. It's around your office of the phone to make this a little bit easier.
Okay.
And you see down here we have more. So we're going to click on more. And then we're going to click on AR. Now watch my 1.3-inch touchscreens when I click on AR. They immediately turn to a QR code. Okay, and now we have this keep scanning, right? So if I move this around, you basically scan through your rack and it sort of gets its orientation. And then after a few seconds, it will say, okay, check mark, we're good. And now it says, go ahead and scan whichever QR code you want. So let's switch to the phone here and we'll scan our top switch here. Now I'm going to turn it sideways. And if I scroll over, we can see, wow, look at that. So not only do we have the ports, you can see which ports are in use, but we can see what's plugged in. If you look at this one right here, it says UBC G4 Pro. This one is a cross connect to the USW24 PoE. This is
So the idea is that you look at the switch and you can understand what is connected there. You can see what is the power consumption, errors, and things like that. Of course, here in the example,
Flex, right?
he has no errors,
right off
and
the
it's
bat,
very
everything is
small example.
Now you can come down here and sort of bring the phone down and it'll automatically switch over to the US24 PoE. And that has many more devices connected. Or you can use these arrows on the left-hand side to switch back and forth between the two devices. You can see I can switch back and forth like so just by hitting the arrows.
So
looking at
there
it
is
one more
no
time,
need
let's go down to this
to
switch
be
down
so
here.
a label, or if
And we
labels
can
are
see
wrong,
that
you
everything
can
is
get
showing up, and if you have
faster
icons
to
for any of
forward
your
the solution.
devices, it'll
Okay.
actually show the icons. So you can see some of these look like Ubiquiti equipment, but there are other icons like for iPhones and iPads and, different devices, different common popular devices that would also show up. I have never been able to get those icons to.
So another example is inspection. Here we can see a technician inspecting something with augmented reality and comparing for a digital twin. These are technologies that we will see more in time. This is an example. This is not. This is to explain the digital twins. This is an example that I had some experience because I thought of introducing this in a plant that also makes appliances. This is it's interesting because this is a technology by Siemens that is implementing that Electrolux. If you know, Siemens is quite large manufacturer of appliances, and it's the main competitor of Electrolux. But this is a different Siemens. Siemens now is a conglomerate, and they use, but Electrolux use Siemens technology to make a digital twin of the plants. Electrolux, if you, I think you know, it's one of the largest manufacturers of electric appliances. There are many brands: Electrolux, AEG, Frigidaire. Zanussi. There are lots of brands that they manufacture. They are very big in South America. South America, they have several brands that are Brazilian and Argentinian that they bought. So they have a lot of plants over there. And it's, for a Swedish guy, should be difficult to control something in South America, but they use this technology.
What is and has always been special about Electrolux is the deep consumer understanding and the consumer orientation, which started 100 years ago. Electrolux makes 60 million appliances every year. We have about 150 markets where we sell our products. We have about 50 factories. We have 3,000 suppliers and around 100,000 delivery points. Expectations of quality, of consumer experience, and then consumer fulfillment logistically are just increasing. So the speed of innovation, the reliability.
Sorry, I had a mix up here. I will.
Always been special about Electrolux is the deep consumer understanding and the consumer orientation, which started 100 years ago. Electrolux makes 60 million appliances every year. We have about 150 markets where we sell our products. We have about 50 factories. We have 3,000 suppliers and around 100,000 delivery points. Expectations of quality, of consumer experience, and then consumer fulfillment logistically are just increasing. So the speed of innovation, the reliability, and the logistical excellence become more and more important. Siemens plays a very important role because it's sort of the mother system, if I may say, of digital product development and more so digital operations.
And of course, we get into the world of digital twins. So we get into the world of moving on a digital product all the way through our manufacturing process. I would like to see it go through our supply chain process. I'd like to see it go through our marketing and sales piece as well. So that we have the ability to visualize, to show, to simulate throughout the life cycle of our product. When we started in 2010, we took a decision that we need to have one hidden backlog for the electrons group. One of the reasons for selecting Team Center was that the portfolio is very broad, because even if we started in the for the R&D area with engineering change, managing the components, rebounds, etc., we already know that we will increase the usage of this VLAN backbone to other functions like quality, purchasing, manufacturing, etc. When we have to plan a new factory, in the past we were doing the calculation of capacity manually on an Excel sheet. Now we put the process, we load it into the Technomatics tool, and this provides.
I will accelerate this because you get the idea. The simulation was done in Excel spreadsheets and things like that, and now they have a digital twin, and they can see the factory and put the data on the factory. Okay? So also in inspection. This is the example of using HoloLens. This is in a fair. People are using glasses to make inspection of something compared to a digital twin also. So it's why I think that these technologies will cross and help us to.
The physical model we have here, we have water tanks. We can pump water from this tank up to this tank, and with opening a valve here, we can release the water or let the water flow from the upper tank to the lower tank. So we are able, you can see that on the screen, the representation, you can see our 3D model of our 3D twin of our physical model here. I am able to control this model now with this digital twin, with this holographic representation. And you can see if I'm doing that, this is called an air tip. This is like a mouse click in the air. I can highlight some things here. And then I go over to this context menu called upper wall, and I'm going to the open close button. And then you can hear something with some air because there's a pneumatic roll which I can control. What I'm going to show you is here, when I'm tapping on the tanks, you will see the water levels. And because I've opened the valve now, the water level in the upper tank is declining, and in the down or in the tank below, it's right.
I think you got the idea. So he's interacting, he's comparing a model, a digital twin against the real thing.
That's essentially it.
And it's a practical use of AR, even if it's shown in a fair. In field maintenance, that is the one that we already talked a little bit. This is a plant of sewage treatment, so they are quite complex in valves and things like that. The idea is to be able, for example, to check, to make the preventive maintenance or corrective maintenance, but to check, because if your technician goes to a place, you need to have a checklist to interact with machines and verify every machine. And now he gets instructions how to do that. For example, he compares this for a model. This is not, as you saw, it's not the exact model. It's something that looks. He gets instructions how to take oil, to replace oil. Okay. And he gets instructions to check the interior. I think you also got the idea. This is to check, okay? And there are tutorials and the maps. This is an histogram of what was happening in this pump. So I think you got the idea. Okay. This is an example in preventive maintenance, okay? The idea is this is a very simple example of something that is very rudimentary. Technicians have to go, most of contracts to check things, have preventive maintenance. And people need to have to go through a checklist, as I said before, and it was kind of difficult to have that. So we now can be more interactive and check against something that is easier. Okay? So the idea is quite simple. Most of the times this is implemented with QR codes, and it's not so sophisticated because augmented reality is nice, but sometimes the things are only a list and they only needs to check the QR code, and it's already an improvement against what is now usual. I think you also got the idea. I will not show all the video because it could be 1 or 2 minutes, and actually let's see now. So now I will introduce what is a digital twin. That is, I think, is a important thing in what will happen in augmented reality. A digital twin is a representation of a physical object. I would say more a system than a physical object, but there are objects and process. It's created collecting real-time data. So sometimes digital twins are empirical, so they are made from real data, because sometimes we don't know what is the real object, and we can fine tune by feedback. Okay, they are used in industry, car manufacturing, urban planning. I think the most important use is manufacturing, and helps us to have a model of what is the reality. Okay, because we are most of the models are Newtonian, and sometimes physics are not Newtonian, and it's difficult to have a full simulation. AR, it's the technology that helps us to visualize and interact with digital twins. You could saw in the Lowe's store, and you could see in the Microsoft, let's say, publicity about the HoloLens and Power BI, that you can interact to a digital twin, and there are different scenarios that you can use data from the real world to improve the digital twins. Okay. An example in manufacturing, AR can overlay assembly instructions. Is what we saw in urban planning. AR can show digital twins of the buildings, and for example, we saw in planning, but for example, winds are very difficult to predict. And if you make a digital twin and you start building, you can compare what happened to winds with sensors of wind sensors in cities. I'm talking, of course, of skyscrapers, buildings, and compared to a digital twin. And in healthcare, they give the comparison, the automatic comparison to a digital twin of a woman, and you can compare vital signs in real time. What is expected to be the vital sign of that person that is in the table with a digital twin of a human, and you can react easier and faster. I will show a conference that someone gave about the importance of digital twins in TED. Is quite fast, not so fast. So Inês, if my time is over, then give me the sign, okay?
I just send you a message.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about.
Just a second. Just a
All
second.
right, well, let's start with an easy
Okay.
question. How many of you are wearing a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or some other kind of health tracking device? And how many of you have got a smartphone with you here today?
Just to understand that the sensors are already with us. Okay.
Okay. Maybe I should say how many of you have not. The fact that so many of us have these technological marvels in our pockets or on our body is a sure sign of the revolution that's taken place in computing over the last decade. And I want you to think with me for a second about the elements of that revolution. So first off are the data. These devices are collecting data about our health, our movements, our habits, and more. And what's really important is that those data are not generic population data, but they're data that are personalized to us, each as an individual. Second, and just as important, are the models. Inside these devices are very powerful mathematical and statistical models. Some of these models are learned entirely from data, perhaps a machine learning model that is learned to classify whether I'm running or walking or biking or sleeping. Some of these models are based in physics, such as a physiological model that describes the equations that represent cardiac function or circadian rhythm. And now where things get really interesting is when we start to put the data and the models together. Mathematically, this is known as data assimilation. So we have data and we have models. With data assimilation, we start updating the models as new data are collected from the system. And we don't do this update just once, but we do it continually. So as the system changes, as I get older and my circadian rhythm or as my cardiac function is not what it once was, the new data is collected and the models are evolving and following along with me. Now that data assimilation is really important because it's what personalizes the models to me. And that then gets us to the fourth element, which is the element of prediction. Now that I have these personalized models, it's so powerful because I can now get predictions or recommendations that are tailored to me as an individual and that are tailored to my dynamically evolving state over my life. So that's what I'm describing. This working together of data and models is likely very familiar to all of you because it's been driving your personal choices in retail and entertainment and wellness for many years. But what you might not know is that a similar revolution has been taking place in engineering systems. And in engineering systems, the story is much the same. We have data, and we have increasing amounts of data as sensors have become smaller, lighter, cheaper, and more powerful. In engineering, we also have models. Our models are usually grounded in physics. These models represent the governing laws of nature. They're powerful models that let us predict how an engineering system will respond. What you see up here on this slide is a picture of the unmanned aircraft that I have in my research group that we use for a great deal of our research. And for this aircraft, we have powerful finite element models that let us predict how the aircraft structure will respond under different conditions. So these models let us answer questions like, will the structure of the aircraft hold together on takeoff if I design it in this way? Or what happens if the aircraft wing gets damaged and I continue to fly it aggressively? Will the aircraft hold together? And again, just like the Fitbit and the smartphone example, we can put the data and the models together to build a personalized model of the engineering system, a personalized model of the aircraft. And we call this personalized model a digital twin. So what is a digital twin? It is a personalized, dynamically evolving model of a physical system. And I want you to think about the digital twin of my aircraft. So as I create that digital twin, I'm going to be collecting data from the sensors on board the aircraft. I'm going to be collecting data from inspections I might make of the aircraft. And I'm going to be assimilating that data into the models. And what's really important is that I'm not building a generic model of just any old Telemaster aircraft. I am building
Okay,
a personalized.
I think you got the idea what is a digital twin. The explanation goes on to explain how it connects to augmented reality, but I think my time is gone, at least Inês says that. So I will stop for the break, okay?
Okay, thank you very
And
much.
Ricardo will follow.
We're going for 10 minutes break, then Ricardo will come to the floor. I just want you to remember, please, to fulfill the attendance sheet, those who haven't done so far. And it's important, okay? I'll remember that at the end of session 2, but if some is leaving now, it's about time to ask you, okay? Thank you very much for your time, and let's go and return at 9:10, or 8:10, sorry. Nani?
So, after the example of João Prudente, the very nice examples, I will try on this second part to put some ideas to put all this functioning. How can students and staff, teachers, can put all not only questions related to augmented reality, but to all these technological improvements that we are facing in education. The B model can be put in practice. Is some ideas, general ideas, how we should work to improve our classroom work, the learning work of the students, and to achieve better results. We must have the idea at this moment that we are facing students from the Z generation that was born and deals with the digital and technological instruments more than ever. So we must adjust our education. How to do it is how I will try to orient during this section. The agenda is 2 points towards next practice, and next practice, how can we implement it? The towards the next practice, after what João presented and what is only to recover some ideas that already have been shown in the Wednesday session, and after the examples that João has brought, is undoubtedly the general attitude is that extended reality is going to be an important tool at universities for all. Is not only some tool for some days, but it is going to be a standard university teaching tool. How we can see here, and there is not many concerns related to it. For students, 63% says no problem to introduce and to apply. The important question here is what are the main concepts, and we felt it with Joan's session, but also last Wednesday when we spoke about education, and we try to be a practical intervention. We had a lot of problems with the infrastructure. Schools, universities, and places must improve a lot the infrastructure and the support to put these things functioning. If not, the technological part is going to be not very agreeable of it. We are going to be down, always down with internet now. So there is a major improvement that we should deal, that is related to the infrastructure and the sport, and there is also always some preoccupation with the impact on teaching or learning. But these preoccupations should always, as we are going to see further, if it is measured at each point of the process, we should not have a lot of worries about it, because as other kind of learning, we will see that the students are improving or not, and what we must do to make it happen with better results. So this trend towards next practice, I suppose it's not necessary to have a lot of time with it, with the perceived capabilities that we face in enabled teaching. I have already presented in Wednesday session. They are confident, students and staff are confident that to knowledge transfer, to procedural training, to effective education in different degrees, a more flexible way, that this is going to be presented with augmented reality or extended reality in a broad sense. We have passed there is a process going on the technological side of education that we must accompany. Surely there is a growing demand for smart education practices for one side. This smart education practice is not only curbing the geographic challenge in physically attending classes. We for instance, giving classes about social organizations. There are interior parts of the country that would like to attend it because they are dealing with this challenge, but they cannot come to literal or to the main cities, universities or classes and sessions. So this could, this technological improvement that we are facing could curb down this kind of problems, not only geographic, but with time constraints also for students or for any kind of person that is that like to improve their learning. As we saw in the last video, the increasing penetration of Internet of Things gives us and encourages more. There is more information, more ways to deal with all this process. So it's going to make it lighter and not so expensive. And there are a lot of already innovative techniques like gamification, micro-learning, adaptive learning that are going also to continue and improve their path during these next years. We have
काय माहित नाही मी तिला सांगितलं तुला इन्फॉर्म करायला 1 2 3
Sorry, Bruna, take out your microphone, please.
we have also so this technological improvement give us more opportunities to provide immersive and engaging learning, personal improvement, accompany the students, and surely the vocational and workplace training that, as we saw in the last presentation from João Prudente. Extended reality technologies will create these immersive and interactive worlds that gives the possibility to visualize the concepts and the experience in different times and in different places, can make it possible to students to transfer the knowledge to students outside the classroom, or augmented reality will bring those concepts to life in the classroom by overlapping those graphics, text, and animation that we could saw in the previous examples. There is going to be a big change. The students are not to be sit down at the classes and for working they must read. No, it's a different way for learning. It's mainly based on experimental and interacting with the most part of studies related to the results that are obtained give a very good highlight of what we can achieve with these new tools, and most studies say that the quality of learning and promote knowledge can achieve 75 till 90% of what is transferred. So it's a huge change. I suppose that also these studies are at the early stage of this technology. After is a standardized tool, let's see if they maintain this kind of figures. We will have to stay to study it, but from the start is a very promising figure. As I told before, one context situation that is important for us to take notice is that we are facing what is called the Generation Z, students that were born after 1996. And for them, the studies about education, what gives us the idea that is very important for them to have more participation on the classes, more discussion, more working through problems and concepts that will improve their learning. What is very different from the previous type of students. So I suppose that this new technology, extended reality, not only it but all the other ones, give us opens at least the door to a new that, and we hope that is a good pedagogy, as we saw last Wednesday by Celestino Magalhães. We at this point is important for us to engage the students to the learn process and master afterwards. And it is a more complex way to make this happen. They will have to accept the challenge to engage. They are open to it, as the numbers in the first slides present. They approve it and they are open to it, but we have to make surely an effort for their approval and their involvement. Afterwards, the learn process is not only receive the information, but is above all for them to research, to discuss, to decide, and to compose something, to see if what they get about the work they done, oriented always by the teachers. And so with this way, they will explore the concepts, the procedures, and the information. They will try to solve real problems and with hands-on activities. Above all, they learn by doing, what is something that this new generation, Z generation, appreciates a lot. Afterwards, we have a physical document about their work, and we will should master it after they build it and present the document about their work. We can master and see how it was, how is the level of knowledge that they achieved through it. So it's a new design thinking for our education process. We have already seen, I put here, towards next practice that is not a next practice, is already in function in the, as you have seen from a lot of examples that were brought here by João. These are the main drivers at this moment for their use, but general education is all also the grand use of extended realities situations. So I will not take much time on this. I will pass to the second point of these orientations. How can we improve our work with students and 21st students of the 21st century? What is the best strategy to implement these new technologies with the digital interfaces at our classes? That is a huge challenge for students and for professors, because it must be dealt in the two ways. Students have to do their work also, but professors, their planning is going to be of higher level of exigence. So how can we solve this situation? And mainly when things are not we have more uncertainty in the process. We have more unpredictably. It's going to be harder to know the outcomes from the students, their work. It would be always a pressure for different students and different thinking of pedagogy and their boundaries. We are going to face very super dynamic and emergent technologies, not only in hard, what is called in computers, in tablets, in cell phones, and hands-on technology that is changing a lot, but also in soft were related to this kind of work, and with a lot the 6 characteristics is going to be an exception potential for innovation, creation, and disruption. So how can we deal with all this, face all these challenge? There is only a way, is to navigate complexity. We can have I brought here the examples of it's called the agile companies. Agile companies, they get the most outcome if they evaluate to face complexity, that is, discover information, influence that new aspects, experiment it, transact, socialize, and commercialize. Is the all that it's new, we must have an open door to it, and that is going to gives us a great value potential, not only for companies but also for education as a whole. Speaking education as a whole, in education and training. Also, there is a graph here that tries to give an idea. We have when we see this, it's a B model. It's exploit and explore. Why exploit and explore? Because they are we must deal them at the same time. What we do with exploit, we have an established, this case was made for companies, but in education we can apply it. We have an established way of working and education methodologies, and we should try to begin using at the way that we do our classes work. We should begin introducing, that's the exploitation, these new technologies, knowing that at the same time we must research and try to understand the best of these technologies. And this research is what we can say we can have in the explore phase. That's what this project is about. We explore it, the major technological improvements to education, and we should accompany it and begin introducing them, because at some point in time in the next year it's going to change dramatically the way that we educate and that we learn, not only as teachers but also as students and teachers. We learn, and it's going to be a new reality in the future of time. So we will have to, all of us, to exploit and explore. Exploit, take some steps and introducing the the new technologies and experimenting them in our daily work, or as students or as teachers, and keep on exploring and accompanying what is going on, not only in technology but also in its application. How can we do this? I tried and the model try to apply the model of business to the education, and it gives us 3 steps to make this transition, or to make this path to these challenges. The first step is to introduce the next practice as today in today learning is the first step. The extended reality technology is going to, as we can see by the examples, it's going to revolutionize the way we teach and learn, and it gives the possibility for students to visualize complex concepts and interconnect with them. So we must promote this introduction of these new technologies is the first step. The second step is to tackle the complexity head on, not only students but also professors and staff. Extended and augmented reality, as we saw previously, is already among us. It is difficult to know how it's going to evaluate its evaluation, but there is a way that we must begin interacting with it and create this engagement to students with interactive and immersive learning experience. I put to tackle this complexity for step 2. There is a lot of already of sites that help us and gives us the way to make use of these situations. This list of links was given by Celestino Magalhães, that is already in work, as we saw last Wednesday, a lot with this kind of technologies. Let me see. This is one of it. The first one, transforming education. As we can see, there is a new way, and the features that if we go here to virtual augmented reality, we see the way and how can we use this kind of materials and learn to use it. So all these sites that are here can help you. Another one, ThinkLink. Yes, ThinkLink. Immersive learning made easy. As you see, it's a work that students and teachers must improve and make acquainted to it, see the best practice, and see already the softwares that can be used to arrive to this immersive experience in the classroom. So I hope this list it's not all of them, but you have here a lot of sites and links that could help you to exploit new links, new technology in above all most of them related to augmented reality or virtual reality also, as we saw. So we deal with extended reality as a whole. So this is a work that we must do, students and teachers, to arrive and to get acquainted with these new ways of learning. The other one, but as Celestino Magalhães, sorry, used to say, this is only a tool. We are in step 2. We are being familiar with a tool, but there are also all the other aspects about the learning process that must be complemented and reoriented, bringing learning to life, enhancing understanding, gamify learning, creating simulations, and provide remote learning. So the process is not, we must enter a new, also as students and teachers, enter a new reality that is all the process involved is going to change the way that these things are brought for our understanding. And so we must rethink the process of learning. It's not only to get acquainted with the technologies, but what is the best technology or best way to teach this subject or to obtain this goal. This is the match that normally should be done by teachers, but to improve the learning from the students. And it's going to be an experimenting one. We are going to see some cases they produce better results. So in the next year we should change. There are also more techniques and more things to be introduced. So it's going to be a going on process, as we used to say. What are some preliminary thoughts that the teacher must be aware of, and to improve the learning process of the students? Things must be easy to use, must be very intuitively. Technology cannot be a problem for them to learn, for the students to learn. So all we can do must be easy to use. It should be also as immersive as possible, bringing really bringing subjects to life. So the more we invest in that situation, surely the students are going to improve their learning more. Measure the progress. This, as we can see, one concern that the students and the staff normally has is that all this hands-on involvement can distract us from the main targets of the process of learning. So we need to put on the field the measures of progress. Not only seeing as the students are going on, but also it's important because we can afterwards, if some students are facing a difficulty, we can create something for them to specifically for that difficulty to improve also their learning. So it's not only an evaluation like in the past for the knowledge transfer, but also to see it permits us, enables us to see what difficulties they are having, and so we can improve and act so those difficulties also. Afterwards, a good story is also an engagement force for the users, and all the teachers must be aware to adapt solutions, taking notice the user's abilities. It's almost as we can, with these new technologies, create a tailored system of education and learning. There are also challenges that we cannot minimize. It's important to speak about them also at this point. There are legal and ethical concerns. I brought here one case, a simple case, but sure there are a lot of others. Being e-learner, teaching e-learner, and explore a virtual environment hosted in another country, in this case, a Chinese provider. If there are legal problems of its use, where should they be solved? It's something that we are going to see at this moment. We have not many legal regulations for this kind of work, so we are seeing how it's going to be conducting the new legislation to apply to this kind of education. Another challenge, very important, and it's related to the inclusion. We must create experience that work on devices that are affordable. That is very important, not to exclude any kind of students, giving them all the possibility and the accessibility of the means to use this kind of technology. Afterwards, we also, as we are seeing, we are going to have a lot of privacy and security concerns. Cybersecurity is also a huge topic on this new kind of education. As it's, I write here, the personal data of a person is going to be up in a different new level, because we are tracking a lot of our daily life. So there are associated with it risks, more risks of identity hacking, and it's something that we must think at this stage when we are preparing to use this kind of technology. The last one, also, it's an important point, I suppose, because as when we use hands-on technology, those kind of glasses, still we are facing some discomfort if we use them for a long period of time. So there are also some studies about these concerns. So we must use these technologies, but take some notice, some of them, mainly when we employ the hands-on glasses, the glasses, for instance. We must take in account that for a long period of time, it produces some a lot of it's not some a lot of discomfort to some persons. So we must be take it in notice when we are preparing these things. And it's all for this B model, I suppose, that is going to be helpful. It's an helpful way, a very simple way, not nothing complicated to achieve and begin introducing this kind of these new technologies in learning to improve the process as a whole. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ricardo. It was very nice, and you had the opportunity also to explore this inclusion topic, which is very important in our project, and very interesting presentation, and make us here make some reflections. I would